What's up, nail geeks? I am back with Hella Handmade Creations June 2021 polishes to show you guys. I have several of them to show off. We have some really pretty colors this month, so let's dive right into the swatches. First up is by Dany Vianna. I've got Friends. This is a fuchsia to purple to gold magnetic with neon green glitters and flakes. This is part of her mixtape series, specifically on this one, a song from Princess and the Frog. Price on this will be $13 and there is a cap of 150 bottles. So this has a very rich, smooth, metallic formula to it. For opacity, I'm going to suggest 2 coats. This builds up very quickly and it magnetizes beautifully. No need for a black undie on this one. It absolutely reaches full coverage at 2 coats. I really can't see many needing to go to a 3rd coat, but I personally like to go in just a touch heavier on my last layer of magnetic polishes just to ensure that I have plenty of pigment to magnetize and get a really obvious design. So this month I'm going in with a ring magnet and you can see it just really pops so well on that multi-chrome magnetic pigment. This easily shifts between a purple to gold. Sometimes you can see a bit of a double line on there. And don't forget, magnetize your glossy top coat layer to extra seal in your design. And next we have Cupcake Polish 9 to 5. This is a peach jelly filled with silver holographic flakes and orange to green to gold iridescent flakes. This is part of her Dolly Parton series, Welcome Cupcake to HHC. Price on this will be $13 and there is no cap. So we have a very jelly-like formula, and I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. When I opened up my PR package for this specific polish, I was a little worried about how this one was going to look against me. I'm really picky with peaches, especially warm undertoned ones, and I was pleasantly surprised with how much I really truly enjoyed this one. I wore it around my apartment for a little while and I was just marveling at how sparkly this one was, and the flakes pop really well against the base color. Now against myself, I do classify myself as being medium toned, and I thought it did lean just quite a bit on the neutral side against me, but it was just so pretty and delicate in person. It's definitely one that I would highly suggest even if you're warm undertoned like myself. And Cuticula brings us Magic in the Air. This is described as a smoky lavender curly base with shiny metallic rose gold flakes and bright pink hollow glitters. This is part of her Disney series. Price is $12.50 and there is no cap. So we have a very true crelly-like formula. This has a touch of a squish factor, but I didn't have any problems in terms of worrying about over buildup or anything like that. So really nice, smooth formula. No issues with fishing or any careful placement. I got quite a bit of the glitters and flakes on my nails. I typically shy away from dusky sort of lavender colors, but I truly enjoyed how the rose gold flakes pop very well against that base. It just kind of brightens it up a bit, and then you have those little glitters in the background. Really cute. Now for opacity, I'm going to suggest between 2 and 3 coats. I personally would suggest going in for 3 coats, though those of you who are rocking shorties, you might be able to get away with 2. But I just think that 3rd coat, if you have any type of free edge of any length, I think it really helps to pop really well and plump it up and give you a strong flaky buildup here. Now this does dry down flat and just the slightest bit textured, not so much thirsty, but I would suggest a good glossy top coat. And Different Dimension brings us We're Gonna Survive This, right? This is described as a dove gray crelly with gold to orange to pink to green color and blue to green to violet color shifting iridescent flakes and hollow micro flakes. This is part of her Grey's Anatomy series. Welcome Different Dimension to HHC. Price on this will be $12 and there is a cap of 100 bottles. So this has a very smooth, crelly sort of formula. It's got a touch of a squish factor to it. Really easy to build to opacity, and for full coverage I'm going to suggest between 2 and 3 coats depending on how you polish. Now I went in light on my 1st coat, and on my 2nd coat I went in normal to somewhat medium type for myself, and it self-leveled really well. No issues with the flakes, even though it's got quite a few of them packed in here. It'll give you this strong iridescent effect against that nice dove sort of warm gray base. And Femme Fatale brings us Rainbow Cake. This is a clear base glitter topper filled with white hexes, dots, bars, rectangles, with accents in vibrant rainbow matte glitters, iridescent flakes, and aurora shimmers in orange to pink shifts. This is part of the Candy series. The price is $13 and there is no cap. Now this is very similar to the previous toppers that Femme Fatale has released in their Candy series. This one I'm strongly going to suggest going in either with a sponge, or if you're going to use the brush, do the dabbing method that I'm doing on my nails here. On really heavy toppers like this one, it's just so cute. I like to just go in, do somewhat of my topper method where I kind of beat it up against my cuticle a little bit, gently spread it out, but then whatever I've got on my brush and whatever is left over on the neck of the bottle from getting any excess base out, I will go in and use that. So that's pretty much what you're seeing me do here. I'm going to strongly suggest going in for careful placement on this one if you choose to not use a sponge. And of course, I'm using this over a pastel cream polish. So really adorable glitter mix. So far, I'm really enjoying the toppers in this series. They are so fun and just something that we don't see very often. Now, this does dry down a little on the thirsty side, so I'm going to suggest a glossy top coat. And Hearts and Promises brings us One More Day. This is a gray hollow base with red sparks that gives a pink to bronze shimmery look. This is part of her Broadway musical series. Price is $12.50 and there's a cap of 200 bottles. Now this has a jelly sort of formula to it, but it builds up very quickly, and I'm going to suggest 3 coats on it. This is another one that I was very pleasantly surprised with how much I liked it. I honestly typically shy away from really dark colors, but the way that the shimmer looks in this is really pretty. In person and indoor lighting, it takes on this really strong pinky sort of appearance. At certain angles, it does tend to lean a touch on the bronze side as well, and it just gives this really nice amped up sort of appearance against that really chocolatey sort of cool toned base. Now on the third coat here, you can see what I'm talking about. It's very, very fine particles of shimmer, really pretty. Now this one dries down flat, so I'm going to suggest a good glossy top coat to finish off. And Nail Artisan Cosmetics brings us Rebel Hero. This is a bright turquoise blue base with dazzling green shimmer, part of their Star Wars series. Price is $13.50 and there's a cap of 100 bottles. So of course, I'm feeling a certain way about this one, not just because of the theme. I'm a big time Star Wars nerd myself, but this color is beautiful. And yes, I realize it's blue, of course, but lately I have been finding myself over the last few months, if I'm honest, chasing after these blue and green sort of shimmers. And this is another one that if you're like me, you absolutely need. This has a very smooth, curly formula. It builds up very well and plumped up perfectly for me at the second coat. This is very glowy in person. At extreme angles, you'll see this luminous blue glow, and then an indoor light, and then looking directly at your nails, you're going to see that nice strong green shimmer. I'm going to suggest a glossy top coat and going in soft on your brush strokes to prevent any streaks. And Nailed It brings us Chasing Dreams. This is a peachy orange flaky curly packed with gold to green crystal flakes, copper to gold to green crystal flakies, and a touch of hollow flakes. This is part of her Studio Ghibli series. Price is $13 and there is a cap of 200 bottles. So this one applies very similar to her PPU polish from last month. If you checked out that video, it's very dense with flakes. Really, I mean, just packed full of them. Gives you that strong, warm toned type of mosaic effect. It kind of reminds me of like fall leaves in the way that they lay down. No issues with anything poking up, everything laid down nice and flat and behaved. And I'm going to strongly suggest going in thin on your coats, as again, this is very much packed full of flakes and it has a strong squishy factor to it. So that paddle brush definitely helps to spread it across your nails really evenly, like butter on some hot toast. It's really nice, and go in carefully and you'll have no issues there. So this really builds up very easily. So just make sure you're going in lightly on your coats. It does dry down very flat, so I'm going to suggest a glossy top coat just to amp up that iridescent effect from the flakes. And Night Owl Lacquer brings us Dinraal. This is a fiery neon orange with red to gold shimmer, burgundy to red to gold, and gold to bronze to green crystal chameleon flakes. This is part of her Breath of the Wild series. Price is $13 and there is no cap. So this one also has a very squishy formula to it, and it's true crelly type of application. I'm going to suggest going in light to thin on your coats just to prevent any over buildup. And I knew this one was going to get skewed on my swatches. I knew it was going to also look a little funny on the video. On my monitors here, it does look like it just looks off, if I'm completely honest. So I want to note and really highlight that the base color to this is truly a very vibrant, searing neon orange. It's very, very bright in person, really lovely, and it just, I mean, it takes your eye's attention so well. The flakes in here also give you this nice medium-sized particle sort of flaky effect, really lovely gold sort of cast with a touch of pink here and there. But again, the neon orange base is just screaming at you. This dries down flat as well, so I'm going to suggest a good glossy top coat. And Pampered Polishes brings us Dude-erus. This is an eye-searing neon red curly loaded with a subtle turquoise shimmer, iridescent flakies, and scattered hollow glitter, and a mix of blue glitter. This is part of her Bob's Burgers series. Price is $13 and there is no cap. So this has a very crelly sort of formula. In my opinion, it leans like a creamy, smooth jelly. And for opacity, I'm going to suggest between 2 and 3 coats, depending on how you polish. I found that 2 coats on myself and the way that I polish was perfect. It builds up very easily, self-levels very well, and the glitters in here are what I consider the finer particle size. So you'll get this almost speckled looking effect. It dries down semi-gloss, so I think any top coat will be perfectly fine with it. Now, I want to note that the official description does state that this is more of a neon sort of red. In person, at least from what I have in front of me here, I do think it does have a really subtle brick red sort of appearance, but still quite vibrant. And next is Penelope Luz. We have Lancelot. This is a gray base with iridescent flakes and aurora shimmer in red to gold to green and some glitters. This is part of her King Arthur series. Price is $13 and there is a 200 bottle cap. So this has a very crelly formula to it as well. It also has a strong squishy factor. This is another one that I'm going to suggest going in lighter on your coats just to prevent any over buildup. And for opacity, I think 2 to 3 coats is going to be perfect depending on how you polish and especially the length of your free edge. So I stopped at the 2nd coat. I thought it looked just fine, though I can see if I went in for a 3rd thin coat to finish it off, it could definitely deepen out that warm sort of base color. The flakes in here give you that nice mosaic effect, and they're very strong against that base. And the glitters are of a small to medium sized sort of variety that appears silver with a bit of a glittery cast. Now this one dries down very flat, so you're going to want to finish off with a good glossy top coat. And Pretty Beautiful Unlimited brings us Cosmic Glow. This is a medium purple jelly with shifting shimmer, crystal chameleon flakes, and it also has black light charged pigment to give it that glowy glow in the dark vibe. This is part of her Cosmic Bowling series. Price is $12 and there's a cap of 150 bottles. So we have a very jelly sort of formula, but when you build it up, it gives you this strong depth sort of appearance. And for opacity, I'm going to suggest 3 coats on it. It does start off just a touch on the softer side, but in a moment you'll see between the 2nd and 3rd coat, the shimmer really starts to pop and you'll get this scattering of iridescent flakes. Now I do have a glow in the dark shot to show you here in the moment. And when you wear glow in the dark polishes, I personally find that if you want them to just really jump out at you in the dark, you'll definitely want to charge them against a light source of some type. So I stuck my nail up against my nail lamp for maybe 30 seconds to a minute. And then I went in the dark and did my photo, and I just wanted to note that for glow-in-the-dark polishes, sometimes they do need to be a bit of a charge to them, whether you are outdoors or if you're next to a lamp, but the payoff is very worth it, and you can see here it glows blue. And lastly is Rogue Lacquer, Don't Be Such a Guppy. This is a sunny yellow curly with blue micro flakes and micro hollow flecks, and is part of her new series, The Little Mermaid. Price is $12 and there is no cap. So I'm really digging yellow polishes lately, and this is so lovely. This is what I would describe as a true straight up mustard sort of yellow in person. It's absolutely got this sunshine sort of tone, but looking at the bottle in front of me here, it definitely has what I would consider a, I think it's French's, it's late at night, I can't think, but mustard, true mustard, not Dijon or anything, but just straight up yellow mustard. And it's vibrant, very pretty, and the flakes pop so well. This definitely gives me flounder vibes, and it dries down semi-gloss, so I think any top coat is going to be perfectly fine with it. And for the most part, I think most are going to be perfectly good at 2 coats for opacity. Now, the website is currently open for viewing, so you can check out these and many more that are going to be available this month. The pre-order starts June 14th at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time and will run until June 21st at 11:59 p.m. Hawaiian Time. I will link Hella Handmade Creations shop below, as well as the Facebook group if you'd like to see additional swatches and other sneak peeks and all that good stuff. And I will break all this info down below for you guys as usual. And I've got so much good stuff to show you guys, so you'll be seeing quite a bit of video spam from me this weekend. And until then, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.